Good afternoon. This is Hope Roski with business, arts, events, and more cool stuff. And we definitely have the cool stuff for you today. You know what? I am so thrilled. It's springtime. I could hear the birds chirping, and the sun is actually shining. And my guest is going to tell you about a lot of neat places where sunshine's going to be if you're looking to travel. So today I have with me Camille Sanders. Welcome, Camille.
Hi, welcome. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you're here with us today. Camille is with the business. It's called Hello, or is it Chic? Chic Romance Travel, correct? Chic Romance Travel. So we're going to talk about the chic, and we're going to bring in the romance and all that travel, and we're going to blend it all together. So, Camille, I just wanted you to tell me about some of your expertise and how you got involved in the business.
Okay, I've actually been in the travel industry over 33 years. Started out working for the airlines here in Fresno, and then ended up moving into a travel agency, becoming a district manager, and then brought my business home 17 years ago when my second child, Nathan, was born. And anyways, I love travel, and I travel a lot. I primarily do international travel. So, you know, the Caribbean, Europe, Mexico, international. But I love it. I do romance travel, destination wedding, family travel. So, yeah.
And I just want to be Camille. I want to go to these places and I want to explore. And it sounds like, you know, not only do you have the knowledge and expertise, but you've also had a chance to travel to some of these places.
Definitely.
As well.
COVID has definitely not stopped me in traveling. I've traveled multiple times every year since 2020. And so I like getting out there, being able to experience firsthand so I can recommend and be able to guide my clients for their best experience on their travel. My latest travel I did was April, May. I went to Italy and traveled all through Italy. Love Italy. Tuscany was my favorite on this trip.
I bet.
And then in November, I actually went to Madeira, Portugal, which is an island just outside Leon, outside Portugal. And so went there, got to experience Madeira, Portugal, and then spent some time in Leon and was able to actually go to the Christmas market too.
So
which was
are
fun.
there any similarities and differences between Madeira, California?
Biggest Madeira, California, and Madeira, Portugal. There's actually an I in Madeira, Portugal. Yes, the biggest
and I'm
one.
sure they're very different.
Very different. Madeira, California, a lot of wood, technically, when it was. And then Madeira, Portugal, it's a beautiful island with tons of things to do, and you'll see some of those photos as we interview.
Speaking of photos, and you're going to be able to share some of the history with all of this as well, let's take a look at some of the places you've had the opportunity to travel, and we'll make some of these people a little bit envious, and then they're going to contact you
right exactly.
over at Chic Romance Travel and book with you. Okay, so tell us a little bit about what we're seeing here.
This particular photo is actually in Florence, and this is the famous bridge there. It has a bunch of different shops, cobblestone now, and actually it's one of the favorite locations to take photos, romantic, getaways and things like that.
But you have a good selfie, so there.
I do, good selfie there. This one was in actually Madeira, Portugal, and I'm in the tree there, and it had these beautiful trees there that were just incredible. So yeah, we were having fun.
There's your little like peekaboo shot
peekaboo
right there.
frame shot of it looks like I'm framed with a tree. Yeah, and then this photo is actually in Italy, in Tuscany area, one of the cities there. We got to go through and see some more photos along the Tuscany area. And with Tuscany, it's just gorgeous. That one, Mike. Yeah, that's a great one.
What to you makes it so spectacular in comparison to some of the other towns or cities in Italy?
Tuscany is just kind of one of those laid back. The people are very authentic. You get that personal touch. Fresh baked bread in the morning and your homemade jams. delivered to your villa along with fresh eggs and things like that. But then being able to see the small cobblestone streets, we actually went and saw the original location of Under the Tuscan Sun for the movie. And then we actually went to go see where it was actually filmed at. Two separate locations and completely different.
Very different than Positano, correct?
Right.
Yes,
Yep,
yes. It's
definitely.
like coastal cliffs and right,
yeah,
fish,
exactly.
right,
And,
exactly.
And then in the Tuscany area, you have this gorgeous, just green shot and different shades of greens and the cypress bushes and things like that. It's just, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and got to meet some really great travel agents on this trip that first time met. We actually, Jennifer and I met in London. We were both connecting to go on to Madeira, Portugal. So great food, great drinks there. You have a lot of the, beautiful Catholic churches and symmetry and stuff there. Me being a goof with, pizza. And pineapple is not on their pizzas in Europe. But the food was wonderful. Nightlight was great. We did a 4x4 trip up into the mountains and stuff there in Madeira, Portugal. And so sunset cruise. We did this fun luge where you actually get into these little baskets and two men literally drive you down. And it's a big sleigh going down the street. And they used to do that in the old days. That was their way of transportation.
Wonderful.
So,
that sounds like a blast.
Yes,
I'd be in one of those.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. It was fun there. We did some wine tasting and tried different types of food and stuff. Yeah, the group went to a market and got to see their fruit, flowers, different types of wines.
Beautiful.
It was gorgeous.
What an experience.
It was.
That is for sure. So I just want to come back and just, these pictures just look absolutely breathtaking. And I'm sure people see that and, I want to go. But you have to be prepared to go.
Right.
So how far does one have to book out?
Especially right now, coming out of COVID, everybody is just extremely, felt like they're pent up for the last 2 years and really wanting to get out and see the world and take advantage. I think with COVID in this situation, we kind of realized that, life is short and we never know what's going to ever happen. So, but because of that, things are filling up much quicker. We're seeing a lot of things filling up, 5-6 months in advance. So if you're looking at
the leeway time is like maybe a good 6 months?
6 months, yep.
Okay, so with that being said, does a person, let's say you book out 6 months and then something happens.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Right.
So is travel insurance worth it?
Yes.
Okay, and
Highly
what
recommend
is
it.
there like a specific, because when you book on an airplane, they say, do you want insurance?
Yep.
And then you check yes or no.
Right.
But it's not affiliated with the airline. And I think that's where a lot of people may get confused. Can you explain that process of travel insurance and the importance of it?
Definitely. Travel insurance is more than just if I can't go, I get all my money back. It's more than that. It's most travel insurance, good travel insurance, it's your full insurance package. So it includes baggage delays, lost bags, along with medical if something happens, God forbid you have to send remains back, that kind of stuff.
Right.
That, I've had situations where, being in the industry over 33 years, situations where, a 2-year-old falls out of a Starbucks in Mexico and breaks her arm 3 days before a destination wedding, or the father of the bride ends up having a heart attack the day before the wedding, things that
you don't want to think about it, but these are definitely real things that can occur.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things you pray you never have to use travel insurance, but if you do, you're really glad that you have it.
Well, no, and that's important, but, and the other factor is that once families, couples, or just single individuals start to travel, what type of documentation should they have with them at all times?
For international travel, for U.S. travelers, definitely your U.S. passport. And most destinations require the passport to be good at least 6 months past your return home. So if you're
Interesting.
traveling in July, for instance, your passport needs to be good at least 6 months past that. And
That's very valuable information.
It
That would
is.
not be something that would have crossed my mind
no,
at any
exactly.
point.
And the reason for that, like COVID situation where people were traveling and out there and things got locked down, people got stuck, and then their passports are expiring, because of not being able
Right.
to get back and things like that. So now a lot of destinations want that 6-month leadway.
Which reminds me, I'm going to need to re-up mine.
Right,
So,
right.
now, one of the things, are there any fees to your providing your
Services?
expertise
Yep.
and services?
Definitely. My agency does charge planning fees, and it's for not only just to do the research and plan, and because I'll help couples or families be able to, choose, plan, and book their travel. But if they're booking a year out in advance, in some destination weddings, they're booking a year and a half out in advance. So I'm with the group or with the party the whole time. So I just don't book them and say, oh, have a great trip in 8 months. No, if they need help along the way, things, happen, they're traveling, something goes sideways, flights are delayed, like they've been notoriously delayed,
Right.
and you're missing your flight, and the shuttle is supposed to be picking you up, and now you're arriving 2 hours later. I'm only a phone call or a text away. So, and I can relay that message to the hotel, to the shuttle company, so you're not stranded at your destination.
And you just take that angst off of people
Yes.
who are
Yeah.
like this when they travel.
Right.
And so, you do pay a fee, but, what a great thing to know that they have you, that they can just call and say, okay, here's my situation.
Yes, exactly.
Please help. And you're available to
Right.
them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shift back to the happier part about the destination weddings.
Yes.
So if you could share a couple places, because I also do something called the wedding show, and we
Nice.
have people who are looking for the destination wedding and that great honeymoon. Where are some places that, if you don't have a pocket full of money to spend, where
Right.
can you go? And then if you have an endless
Pocket of money to
to
spend.
spend,
Right.
where would you go?
Right. Two of the kind of biggest bang for your buck destinations, Jamaica and Mexico. Those are your two. All-inclusive resorts, so all your meals, all your drinks for your guests, activities, entertainment, some basic gratuities with most of them are all included. So once guests arrive and couples arrive for their destination wedding, they're pretty much, they can put away their wallets unless they're going off to do shopping or tours or things like that. So it's really economical. And like with our agency with Chic Romance Travel, we also have a payment plan. So guests can put down a deposit, pay so much a month if they want to, and normally have paid off 60, 90 days out, which makes it very
And
convenient.
one of the things that was brought up on the wedding show is that people can actually, some of the guests will say, well, what can I get the couple? And there's one of the options is helping to pay for the honeymoon.
Right.
So that's something else
Yep.
to think about as well.
Or an excursion, like we do honeymoon like registry, so couples can book their
about
honeymoon,
that?
and then if somebody wants to pay for their breakfast in bed or strawberries delivered to their room or a horseback ride trip for the couple, that's definitely an option. Yeah.
So we talked a lot about out of the country, and just to wrap things up, if people were to travel here in the United States, what are some places people might want to go for that destination wedding or honeymoon?
Hawaii is a big option for destination weddings. So, but Hawaii is more on the endless amount of money
Right.
to spend because there's no all-inclusives there. So
Right.
food, entertainment, all of
So
that.
like
is
people here from
additional.
the valley, where would you suggest they would go if they want to stay like within California or on the West Coast?
I mean, you could go to Napa. We have great locations in California. I don't book any of the California or domestic, but like Napa, over to Monterey, Pismo, down to San
Right.
Diego. Catalina is a lot of fun. You can do the ferry over, stay a few nights on Catalina. which I've done. But yeah, there's some great places like that for
Well,
California.
that's good. That's always good to know, and I
Right.
appreciate you sharing that. Well, I am so tickled that you came on the show today, Camille. I gained so much knowledge from you, and I hope you come back and
Definitely.
visit with us again.
Yes.
All right, folks. So it's getting close to summertime. I know some of you may be on spring break and you're thinking about the next phase, which is summertime. Get in touch with Camille Sanders at Chic Romantic Travel. And if you can just give them your website and phone number where they could reach out to you, that would be great.
It's at chicromancetravel.com and telephone number 800-432-1752.
All right, Camille Sanders, thank you so much.
You're
and we look forward to
welcome.
seeing
Thank
you again.
you.
I'll be back with you in just a few moments. This is Hope Roski, and we'll see you in a few.